How old were you when you started shaving?
My dad, I had a gnarly mustache in 7th grade, and my dad was like,
in 7th grade?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, hell yeah.
That's young to have
gnarly. My dad was like, all right, this is bad. So we did the whole like shaving cream.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, why didn't you just get an electric? Like, just
yeah.
Like, much easier. But he taught me how to do it. 7th grade, I was shaving my mustache.
7th grade with a mustache. 7th grade I had a unibrow, so that's perfect. Both of us little hairy goons. I just tweezed it. I remember thinking it was all like connected, like one. What's that movie with that woman, Frida? She had just like one across. That was basically me. Welcome back to Scoop City. I'm the Athletic Senior NFL Insider, Dianna Russini.
And I'm Chase Daniel, played 14 years in the NFL.
Thanks for all the comments. I know a lot of you guys were weighing in on our parental pet peeve bracket, so we appreciate some of the thoughts. It was probably one of the fun little games that we've played on the show where people really didn't disagree. I think most parents agreed that the tantrums in public.
It was a well set up bracket.
Correct. It was perfect. It was all chalk from there. Everyone agreed. So thanks for hanging out with us there. Make sure you subscribe. Check us out over on YouTube. We are 1 month away this week from the NFL draft. So we've got a few weeks here to get you prepared as we start focusing in on the teams that are all in on quarterback. We've got workouts coming up over the next few weeks here. So we have so much to dive into. Free agency just wrapped up. We're in this like in-between phase where it feels quiet. But I describe the NFL right now, Chase, like a duck. Like it's really calm, floating around, but underneath everyone is working hard, pedaling.
I've never heard that. A duck. Okay.
Yeah, ever watch a duck swim?
That's good. Yeah.
Underneath, they're moving their little legs real quick. Correct. So just because you're not hearing a lot of things doesn't mean a lot of things are not going on. So let's get right to this. Here's what I'm hearing around the league. Well, we're officially hitting the smokescreen season here, where we're trying to figure out what teams are going to be doing in this upcoming draft, whether or not the Tennessee Titans are going to trade out, whether or not they're going to stay up there and go after a quarterback. What are the New York Giants going to do? Are they going to try to trade up to get a quarterback? What are the Cleveland Browns doing? There's so many questions as we look at the draft, and there are still teams discussing, of course, what they want to do here. Yet, you can start seeing the signs of what they're going to do at these pro days, right? So Cam Ward had his pro day. All 32 teams were present there. Most teams are sending their area scout, their regional scout, their directors, but the teams that we know are in on quarterbacks, they are sending their coaches, their head coaches, position coaches, coordinators. Some, like the Tennessee Titans, sending their entire social media team.
That's wild.
To take it all in, because you got to document it. Did it happen if you weren't there? So, Chase, I talk to a lot on the, coaching GM side of these events, and most say it's pretty boring. It's not a real exciting day. Yeah. What about for the players? What is it like for them?
Yeah, look, he's going to wake up in the morning and he might talk to some teams before, but it's a pretty chill workout. When I was doing my workout for Mizzou, there's a ton of people there because Jeremy Maclin was going for sure in the first round. We had a guy named Ziggy Hood go in the first round. So there's a lot of guys. I was like toward the end of the quarterback class, but I was obviously one throwing to him. And it's pretty chill. Like you have a set throwing schedule. So you know exactly what you're going to throw. Your coach has 50 to 60 throws, whether it's a 3-step drop to your left, throw an out route, 3-step drop to your left, throw a hitch, and so forth and so on. They'll go through the whole gamut, 5-step, 7-step drop. They'll go through play action. They'll even throw a couple screens, and they'll save the end of the throwing period for something fun, like a double reverse pass or like something you end on like that, just to show, your athleticism. So for Cam, it's something where if he doesn't complete almost every single pass, I think that would be a down day because you're throwing on air. You know exactly what you're doing. You've run through this script 1,000 times. And personally, I hate pro days. Like I don't think that pro days for top prospects do anything because you're really not running the team's things. I think private workouts after the pro days, that's what shows more. And a lot of people don't understand is, yeah, Cam's doing his pro day. He's going to throw. He's going to show out. It's going to be great. The ball zips off his arm. But what's so cool about that is that all the other guys on the University of Miami's team, they will get seen Because say you have an undrafted grade on somebody and all of a sudden a scout from the Titans looks at Cam Ward's second receiver and was like, whoa, I didn't know that guy had that. So I think that's what these pro days are for, is getting some of these guys that may not get seen by all 32 teams.
Yeah, and just talking to coaches through this process that are in on a quarterback specifically, so much of it is about also getting to know the guy as much time as they can spend.
Yeah, dinner the night before, all that stuff.
Getting to know them, what their vibe is, what they're like, because different environments bring out different types of personalities, I think, in people, and whether it's nervous energy, excitement, whatever the combine meetings brought. And they're not given a lot of time at the combine. So at these pro days, they're able to get a lot more information while also talking to their college coaches and assistant coaches, just to really get a better understanding of who that person is and who you're willing, to draft and potentially become the face of the franchise. So the New York Giants are obviously in the quarterback business here. So we know that they signed Jameis Winston after having both Russell Wilson and Joe Flacco visit with them. I was told that they're still going to be poking around at the veteran quarterback market, though. So this doesn't mean it's Jameis and definitely a young rookie quarterback coming in here. So we'll see what the Giants decide to do. But just reading the tea leaves of what you think they've done and the moves they've made, how do you see this playing for the New York Giants, who we know they're not in an easy position? At least no. Joe Schoen and Brian Daboll certainly are not.
Yeah. So a couple things. The tanking situation that I've been saying, even though they're not tanking by playing Tommy Vito, I think that's in play here. I don't think that them signing another veteran quarterback takes them out of the rookie quarterback market. In fact, I would go as far as saying I'm confident, I don't know anything, that they will take a quarterback. And I say this not lightly, because I did just a bunch of thinking. I'm like, all right, if you're Brian Daboll and Joe Schoen, you pretty much have 1 year to prove that you can win. Because quite honestly, there were conversations last year. Are they going to come back? Are they not? Are they going to do this? Whatever. The seat's really hot. The leash is really short. However you want to put it. Okay, so signing Jameis Winston to a 2-year, $8 million deal. Okay, that's not going to move the needle. Signing Russell Wilson to a 1-year deal, or if he decides to sign another veteran, that's not going to move the deal. Like, I don't think Russell's going to be the savior of the New York Giants and say, hey, we can go and we can take this team to the playoffs. This roster's got some holes in it. So I think the only way that Brian Daboll and Joe Schoen can keep their jobs is if they go and they hit on a rookie quarterback, whether they say, hey, we're allowing you guys to trade up to number 1 and take Cam Ward because you love him, or if you're good with Shador at 3, or you might need to move up to 2 depending on the Browns. There's all sorts of stuff. But I do think they're going to take a quarterback, and I think that's the only way Joe Schoen and Brian Daboll keep their jobs. And you're like, well, why? I'm like, because if they can show some promise with a young rookie quarterback on a rookie deal and win 7, 8, 9 games with a rookie quarterback that shows some promise in the offense, that shows the team's gotten better, I think that's how they extend their shelf life as head coach and GM. I don't think it's from, hey, we won 9 games with Jameis, or we won 9 games with Russell Wilson, who would be a Band-Aid. I think that's really the only way, in my opinion. Now, other people might have differing opinions, but in my opinion, that's how they stay and stick, is if they win 8, 9 games with a rookie, and not Jaden Daniels type thing, because there's really no one in this class, but something of that nature, I think, is the only way they keep their job.
Yeah, they are not in an easy position at all, knowing the way the owner has felt and it expressed publicly, right? It was a Friday. They met with Brian Daboll and Joe Schoen at the end of the season. It came out on Sunday that they met and that they were told that they're going to stay. And then he meets with the media, and it seems just like he's pretty annoyed and tired of losing, and he expressed that, right? So it just makes me wonder about the process and the philosophy of New York and how John Mara actually sees it. Because to your point, if they win a few games with Jameis Winston, but they don't have an answer at quarterback, he's not going to be happy with that. If they win very few games with Jameis Winston, we know what that's going to be. And look, it's not like Jameis Winston's coming in here and guaranteeing you, 8 games of winners. Like this, no. He spent time with Cleveland, they've moved on. He spent time with Sean Payton when he was in New Orleans, Sean moved on. Right? Yeah. There's reasons for that.
Throws a lot of interceptions. He's the backup.
He
there,
throws a
in my
lot of
opinion.
interceptions.
You know what I mean?
Correct. Jameis brings a lot of good. Obviously, the team mentality, the flair, the personality that we've seen all over social media. He was a Super Bowl star, which how funny is that Saquon in his media availability during the Super Bowl told him that the New York Giants need one of the Giants sign him. It's just,
that's funny.
The script is so good. It just reminds me of what we talked about when Kevin Fishman from Chicago was on the show about these vicious cycles. I just don't think Brian Daboll and Joe Schoen are being put in a lane to have success here. Look, some of it their own fault, though. You could probably go back to some old regimes and put some blame on them as well. And this is what I mean by the cycle. I still wish, and I know he didn't do it, we can't change it now. I just wish John Mara came out that day and said, these are the two best options for the New York Giants going forward. I believe in Brian Daboll. I believe in Joe Schoen. And you allow these two to go do their jobs. Because I wonder sometimes when you look at the decision makers here, who's the one looking out for the future of the franchise here? Because it ain't Joe. It ain't Brian. And that's not, because I would do the same thing if I were them. Yeah. This is not a knock on them. It's they're going to do whatever it takes to win in the now. Whereas a lot of the great teams are thinking about the future and what this will look like, right? The Eagles aren't going anywhere for a while. They are built to win for this season, next season, and the season after. The Washington Commanders are on the rise. They're built to win this season and potentially more. I understand these guys all have their quarterbacks and they've got their lines built up. But the Dallas Cowboys and the New York Giants are going to probably take turns over the next 5 to 10 seasons as being the joke, because I don't
at least the Cowboys have a quarterback that's decent. You know what I mean?
Yes.
In the regular season, like this is what I was going to ask you, because you're up there in that area. Where do you think that went wrong? Do you think it was like it's going to be in a year or two when if they're not coaching there and they're not the GM there anymore, you're going to look back at the hard knocks? Unfortunately, like everyone likes to bring it up, but it's like sort of truthful. Like, you let go of Saquon and you decide to have Daniel Jones instead. You don't move on from Daniel Jones. You don't do anything in the free agent market. You don't take a big swing like they did this year at Matthew Stafford. Do you think Giants fans can point to that specific point in the maybe downfall of Schoen and Daboll's career?
I think it's a little Dave Gettleman. I think it's a little Joe Schoen. Mm-hmm. Nobody has been perfect here. I also don't think it's easy. I think some of these decisions were hard for this organization, but I think obviously seeing it on our televisions and on our phones, their decisions will always heighten it and make us forever remember it. I mean, I don't care if Brian Daboll and Joe Schoen go and win a Super Bowl this year, we will always think of them as the regime that let Saquon walk to go to the rival to win a Super Bowl.
It's not even like they let him walk, Diana. It's like what they said. Like, first of all, the owner's like, they're our most popular player, but we don't. Joe Schoen pretty much said, we don't pay a back $12 million when we have a $40 million quarterback.
Yep.
Like, that's, you look at the Eagles. The Eagles have a $50 million quarterback and a $20 million back right now. You can do it. Like, are they just being cheap? Like, did he just not want to do that? Like, I think
his philosophy. That's all these different decision makers have different ways of building their teams. And obviously that's the way he was either taught or had true conviction in. And, I'm going to guess they regret that. They'll never, I don't know if they'll ever say it. I don't even know if Joe Schoen has ever been asked it. Coming up the owners meeting next.
He would never say that. There's no way. Why don't you ask him? Ask him verbatim. Hey, do you regret letting go of Saquon?
I did that with Bill Belichick when he traded Jimmy Garoppolo away. And if you remember in the playoffs, it was at practice, the running back ran into Brady's thumb. And do you remember this? And it was bleeding. Yeah. It was a disaster. Yep. And I sometimes when you're covering teams every single day, you lose sight of manners. I swear. And so I'm sitting.
You get comfortable.
But you're also you're so aggressive. You're in it and you're living and breathing this thing. And so I'm sitting there and Bill's up at the podium, and they had just traded Jimmy. And I said, Coach, do you have any? Because at this point, they don't have like their backup quarterback was like Brian Hoyer.
Hoyer.
You know? Yeah. So I was like, Bill, do you regret trading away Jimmy Garoppolo? Chase, he stared at me for it was 15 seconds of just a straight stare. Now that Tom is dealing with this injury, looking back on the season, do you have any regrets about trading away Jimmy Garoppolo?
You're getting ready for Jacksonville.
Sometimes being young and naive is good. Unfortunately, I can't pull that anymore. So Joe Shea would know exactly what I was asking. And look, they have a very big challenge ahead of them, even if they wind up getting one of these quarterbacks. But I think the state of the Giants, if I'm a Giants fan, I am disappointed that it's 2025 and we have no idea what we're doing.
Yeah, but at least if you're Giants fans, right? Like hope is hard to come by. I get that. I feel for you because you're in a very difficult division. But at least if you draft a guy like Shador or Cam Ward, at least there's a little bit of hope. You know what I mean? Like the roster that they have is not awful. Like it's not awful. Like offensively, they have a weapon, a legit weapon in Malik, right? And the Tracy guy the back is very good. Like he's great. And then their D line, I think, is one of the best in that division, if I'm being honest with you. So they have the players. It's just they're man,
which is why they were trying to get Aaron Rodgers.
And I don't know if I'm in a locker room, like if I'm them, if I am excited to get Russell Wilson, or if I'm excited to get, at least you're like, man, a rookie. All right, like maybe we can build something around him. Like maybe we can do this. I don't know. It is a very difficult situation.
Do you think teams really feel that way? Players are like, oh, I'm excited for a rookie. I would think.
Honestly, if you're with the Giants and you've seen Daniel Jones play the way he's played the last few years, and you've seen Tommy DeVito, no offense, like Tommy DeVito. I thought Drew Lock, great. Never going to talk about him because he's a Mizzou guy, but struggled at times. Like, yeah, you do. You're like, man, if you see a team and you're like, they just pulled off a sick trade to go up to number one, which probably won't happen, to get Cam Ward, or at least Shador. You see the hype. You do this now. When they get in the locker room, it can be different. But at least like, I don't get excited about Jameis Winston. I don't get excited about like Russell. You know what I mean? Like, at least there's some type of unknown with the rookie, especially after all the rookies who had really good years last year. Like maybe he could be like a Bo Nix. I'm not going to say Jaden Daniels, but
you give me the X when you do Italians.
Tommy DeVito.
Ugh, stop.
The X. I haven't heard that in a while.
I really wanted you to say before the leash is really hot and the seat is really short, but you got it right.
Nope, I got it right.
The leash is short, the seat is hot. Win for you. Good work. How about a win for the Pittsburgh Steelers, who were able to get Aaron Rodgers in the building? He met with Arthur Smith, Mike Tomlin for, just about 6 hours. The team decided not to go to the Michigan Pro Day to sit and spend some time with Rodgers after a lot of conversations and talks about what this would be, where he can fit, how this could work. While all this happened after the Minnesota Vikings made it very, very public through the NFL Network that they would not be in the Aaron Rodgers sweepstakes at this moment, as they're all in on J.J. McCarthy. So Rodgers hears that, get message loud and clear. You're in on the young guy, so I'm going to go now visit with the Pittsburgh Steelers. So, and the sense around the league is he will wind up there, but he has not signed.
Do you think it's as cut and dry? I mean, you made it sound like so cut and dry. Like, oh, the Vikings are going with JJ, Aaron's going to Pittsburgh. Like, I get that, but is there any sense out there? Because when I saw the Rodgers visit, I'm like, okay, like his first time free agent, first time visit. That's cool. I'm sure it had nothing to do about football. I'm sure it had a lot to do with outside of football. How are we going to handle ourselves? How are we going to handle this? How are we going to do this? What type of money? Yada, yada. Do you think that there's a way or any type of maybe leverage play here with Rodgers saying, hey, all right, you want to go with a rookie quarterback, J.J. McCarthy? Let me just pop on over to Pittsburgh on a Friday slow news dump and be like, hey, let me see you. You know what I mean? Do you think there's any of that possibly?
I don't know. Are you taking a flight from Malibu to Pittsburgh? to just make a point?
If I can go to Minnesota and win a Super Bowl with them, yeah, maybe.
So you think this maybe was a play? Like, you don't actually think this,
I don't
but
think,
it crossed your
I'm
mind.
just asking.
It crossed your mind.
Yeah, I don't
Like,
think. I just,
look,
it's like,
other people have said that to me over the weekend of, maybe this is just Aaron Rodgers saying, hey, Kevin O'Connell, come get me. Because now
I don't
it's
want to
real.
get too much into it, but like there is something.
I know what you're saying. Maybe. No.
Because if I'm Rodgers, like, first of all, like, all right, the dude obviously wants to play. Like, retirement to him is not it doesn't seem right now to be an option. Now, if he doesn't get enough money or yada yada, I mean, maybe, but he still doesn't seem like in a hurry to play or like a hurry to sign. So I don't know. It crossed my mind.
I don't know, Chase. You've been doing this a long time. When players are hesitant to signing, and we don't know why, but meetings went well, everybody got along, and we're talking about Mike freaking Tomlin here. Like, this isn't some young new head coach that Aaron wouldn't feel comfortable with. I mean, this guy is the alpha of alphas when it comes to head coaches. I would think that they would get along very well. But normally when there's time that goes by like this, no decisions made, it's money. It's always money, right? So let's see if the Steelers are willing to dance a little bit, maybe pay a little bit more than what they wanted to see if they can reel in the big fish.
Is this worth it for the Steelers? Like, I'm not, it's just like rhetorical. Like, I'm thinking like, all right, the Steelers, let's just put a 3 in front of them. It's a Band-Aid. A 30. It's a little bit of a Band-Aid. But honestly, do you think Rodgers will get you that much further than Russell? You know, because
but if I'm TJ Watt, I'm like,
yeah, like exactly. No, 100%. Yeah, and then so that brings me to like the draft, like, and sort of the whole Pittsburgh way has been like, man, they haven't hit on a quarterback since Roethlisberger. Like Tomlin, say what you want, man. Kenny Pickett, Mitch Trubisky. Like, I'm a huge Tomlin fan. Justin Fields, Russell Wilson, and it's also saying something about them where you have 2 starting quarterbacks in their room last year, and none of them are back. You know, like, I don't think, all I'm saying is I don't think this takes him out of the draft for a quarterback. Like if, and I've said this before, this is not new, and I don't think he'll be there. But if Jackson Dart is around at 15, 16, I know they draft 21, are you liking him enough to move up and take a flyer on him and be like, hey, you know what, I like this guy because the game's there, right? Got to improve on some things. But then you're like, how does that affect my receiver room? DK Metcalf just signed a $130-something million deal. He's getting paid $30 million. Does he want to catch from a rookie or does he want to catch from Aaron Rodgers? So there's all this play here where, man, it's interesting to me.
Yeah, I don't know what the timeline's going to be. I don't know what they agreed to, if they even agreed, or if this was just a date, as you said, or where they just are having a conversation. Here's what this will be. Here's what my off-season program will look like. Are you going to be here for everything? Are you going to Egypt again? You know, I'm sure there were a lot of questions about what it would look like. And I would guess that the Steelers would really want him in the building a lot.
You think Tomlin and Aaron Rodgers are going to get along? That's what you said. You're like, they should get along. They're polar opposites. They couldn't be more different.
I think Mike Tomlin has a tremendous ability to adapt to whatever's in front of him to get the most out of them, right? We're talking about a head coach who had to deal with Antonio Brown, with the Le'Veon Bell situation. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, and I'm leaving out probably 50 other players right now off the top of my head of tough personalities, distractors, right?
Yeah.
He can handle Aaron Rodgers.
He's a quarterback. A receiver's way different than a quarterback.
Give me a weird quarterback over a psychotic wide receiver any day of the week. Oh, okay. You can manage...
Okay.
You know, a quarter.
First of all, I don't know if you can manage Rodgers. He's going to do what he wants.
He's going to do what he wants.
But I
think my theory on Aaron Rodgers and what the right fit is for him always goes back to he needs to play for a coach that he respects.
Yeah.
And that's what good. Mike Tomlin is, right? Like that's why I think this is a good match. It's also why I thought it was a good match in Minnesota because I do think he's got tons of respect for Kevin O'Connell. Whereas I'm not too sure about Brian Daboll. He should, but who knows how he would feel about it. And we talked about it last show. Like, there's only a handful of coaches who I think can handle him.
Look, I just thought about something we've said. We've been talking every freaking angle of Aaron Rodgers. I'm sure Scoop's like tired of it. But guess what? We're going to keep talking about it. But I just remembered something I said to you, maybe on the phone or maybe not. Could you imagine if Aaron Rodgers is the quarterback? Okay, transport your mind right there. All right. And then DK Metcalf, who's a little bit of, he has some diva moments. And then George Pickens, we know how he is sometimes. Can you imagine the conversation between Rodgers and Pickens if Pickens runs the wrong route and doesn't convert a go route and has a stop route and throws a pick six? Can you imagine? I just think there's that in play too. How's the dynamic in the huddle? I know George Pickens is like, oh, Aaron Rodgers, but we saw Aaron Rodgers call out the nicest human being in planet Earth that plays football in Mike Williams. And I know that because I was his teammate. The dude is quiet. He works hard. He puts his head down. You didn't get on the red. If he does that respectfully to George Pickens will not have the same reaction as Mike Williams did, who said nothing after the fact.
Yeah. Well,
there's that play into it.
I wonder if he brought a wish list to Pittsburgh and said,
that wish list is on fire in the
Can you
fireplace.
Bring Devontae here? Can you bring Odell Beckham?
No way.
No. I don't think that's happening this time around. A whole new experience for the Pittsburgh Steelers and for Aaron Rodgers, hopefully. And hopefully we get a decision. Otherwise, we're going to keep talking about it because, look, you can say what you want about the Pittsburgh Steelers. Everyone, that I'm reading locally is like, we got to be better. We're the Pittsburgh Steelers. I get it. You are the Pittsburgh Steelers, but guess what? The Pittsburgh Steelers have no other options. They're left. They've made their bed, and they got to lie in it now.
That's a good point.
So we'll see what happens. We'll see. And Aaron knows this. Aaron's not sitting here doing
Aaron's
any
got
favors.
all the leverage.
He's going to squeeze them, and we'll see what he decides. And maybe based on Chase's theory, Minnesota will sneak back in this thing after the second OTA, and they're like, you know what?
Don't do that. People already hate me for Jay. Don't. I did not say that. I was just wondering to myself.
A lot of people have had that thought. When we get back, we're going to touch on the latest with the Brandon Aiyuk and the 49ers situation. We told you here on Scoop City that they were getting some calls about potential trades. Is there something to it? And what's going on with Trey Hendrickson and Kirk Cousins? Kirk, where are you at, my friend? You want to do this thing or not? We're going to explain what Kirk Cousins' plans are going to be maybe over the next few months. We'll be right back. All right, back here in Scoop City, some more news across the league to get to. But, Chase, I want to put you on the spot with some of the topics here. We're going to decide together, because I'll give you some intel, and then you tell me your opinion.
Nice.
If you think that this topic has something to it, if it's got some teeth,
right,
or if you think we should probably just kind of blow by this and probably move on, despite the fact that it's kind of quiet this time of year news-wise. So
something or nothing.
Something or nothing, baby. So let's start with it. The 49ers have incentive to move Brandon Aiyuk before the April 1st payday. They've gotten some calls about him. We know that they signed him to a new contract last summer. We all know the drama that came with that. It's a $22.85 million roster bonus here. So there's some chatter that perhaps they're going to move him. There's chatters that there's teams interested. Do you think this is something or nothing?
This is nothing. I say it's nothing. Look, do the 49ers, in my opinion, probably regret paying him that much? Yes. But the contract, the bonus is due April 1st. No, I can't imagine there's a team out there right now that is willing to trade not only for that money, but then to give up picks for Brandon Aiyuk. And honestly, you gave him the contract, so you do believe in him as the number one. You can't be getting rid of all these players and leave Brock Purdy, my guy, with nothing at all. Trading him is not going to help the Brock Purdy number go up. They have plenty of that. So I would think it would be nothing, maybe.
Yeah, I don't get the sense that it's a reality. I'm sure the 49ers would like to do it because of the finances.
So that plays that big a deal into the finances.
Well, but why would a team be so open about this? There must be something else, right? This is a guy you just gave a new deal to.
Why'd they give him the deal then?
They obviously thought that this was something that was going to fit in their
hurt.
offense. Well, that didn't help, obviously. But let's take out that injury. That's not fair. I mean, he didn't plan that.
But he also never got to get really fully in shape. You know what I mean?
Correct. because of that whole, remember that dance?
I think he
was
balls
crazy.
out this season. 1,250 yards receiving. Let's go 9.5 touchdowns over. We're going to take the over on 9.5.
I loved how you flipped this. I think that's a good way to see it. He's looking at this like, you want to move me?
Yeah.
You're taking calls on me? Okay. So we'll see what happens with this. I don't expect anything.
Nothing.
If it does, we'll hop on and do an emergency show.
Emergency pod.
Emergency pod, Brandon Aiyuk moves to the New England Patriots.
Our producers
which I don't
love
see.
that.
That's
Let's
not
go.
happening. We only did one emergency pod. Oh, no, we've done two.
No,
We did an Aaron Rodgers,
we've done two.
Jets.
Jets? Yeah. What was the other one?
I think Jets. I think they've always, because they just hit so much. They hit so much. All right, how about Trey Hendrickson, who we know requested a trade from the Cincinnati Bengals. We know that they paid buku bucks for their two receivers, $70 million essentially for their two wideouts who are all over my Instagram cruising around in their Lamborghinis. You see that? They both bought Lamborghinis.
What? I did not see that.
I want to be Jamar Chase when I grow up.
Oh my gosh.
He's living life.
Save the money.
So Trey Hendrickson is still looking for a trade partner, but I was told that the Bengals are trying to work out a deal with him. They're going to try to make this work, despite the fact that I know we've had this conversation a lot of how they think they can do it, right? So there's some chatter that Trey would contemplate sitting out if the Bengals don't pay him. Is this something or nothing?
Nothing. You're not sitting out. You're not. Like, first of all, you're going to get traded to Indy because his old defensive coordinator, Luna Rumo, is there. That's like, I see Indy or Cincy. I mean, maybe I'm wrong. I know nothing, but I'm just saying, trying to read between the lines here. It's Indy or Cincy. Dude, you love football too much. I play with Trey in New Orleans. Like, you love football too much. You're too good of a player. You're going to get your money. He's never really seemed like a drama person. Like, don't start this. Don't start this now. So if you think let me ask you, because if you think they can keep him, what number are the Bengals at? What number does Trey want? Does Trey want 35.7?
Yes.
Which would be the second highest paid?
Mm-hmm. So the number he's looking for is between that Myles Garrett and Max Crosby number.
Okay, so 36.
Right?
Call it 36.
Well, let's just call it 36 for this. If they're engaging in these conversations and they know that's what he wants, then there's got to be some belief that they can get there. Unless they think the player will take a little less to stay now that they signed up.
So Joe Burrow tax.
Both Jamar T, right? A Joe Burrow tax, but also maybe this is where the Bengals make a move and say this is also a Joe Burrow demand, right? Because Joe Burrow is getting everything he wants right now.
I will
He's
say
getting everything.
Once the actual contract of T. Higgins came out, it's a 1 year deal. It's a 1 year deal. That like there's like they can get out of it after 1 year for like $30-something million. So maybe that is the way to be like, all right, we'll guarantee two of Trey's like numbers, two of Trey's years. So I will say, like, when I first saw the crazy numbers of Jamar and T, I'm like, there's no way. And then I saw T. Higgins' contract, I'm like, whoa, boy. I think it's like $36 million they owe him for 1 year, and they can get out because the rest of the contract's some injury guarantee. So maybe that's a way they're like, hey, make it look good on the surface. Yeah, we want to keep him 2 years, but maybe that's a way that Trey Hendrickson can. Also, I think Trey's a great pass rusher. Do the Bengals want to pay him $36 million a year? Like, I know he led the league in sack. He's a great dude. I was with him. I love him as a teammate. I mean, good for this guy, but that's a lot of money.
Yeah, and they have other areas to fill and pay and build. And it just feels like the Bengals are really committed to changing this narrative about who they are. I just don't necessarily believe that this is going to work in their favor. Maybe it will.
They got to build
I
up
hope.
the defense around them. Can't just have one star player.
Kirk Cousins starts for a new team in 2025. Is that something or nothing? What do you think?
First of all, that's crazy because everyone and their moms have been saying, he's not going anywhere. He's our backup quarterback. I think there's something to it. I do. I think that there could be a situation maybe after the draft, because he doesn't want the same situation to happen again with Michael Penix, that he could be like, hey, I would go there. But doesn't he have a no trade clause?
He has a no trade clause, so he could waive it.
Huh. It just sounds to me, all this chatter, that he definitely does not want to be in Atlanta.
Why would he want to be there? They just drafted a quarterback when he was told he was going to be the guy.
Diana, I'll give you 38 million reasons why he should want to be there.
Okay, I get that. But think about how this started compared to where we're at.
Oh, like, yeah, honeymoon phase, you're cheating on him.
We were talking about this, and it was
the honeymoon phase.
He does not want to go play for a team that is going to draft another quarterback. Why would he want to do that? He doesn't want to go through that again.
Okay,
he's gonna probably waive that trade clause for a team that is desperate in need for a quarterback.
What team?
At that moment.
What team? Titans, Browns, Giants. Not the Vikings.
I keep saying it too.
Who else?
But why not? Like, can we have that conversation about the Vikings? Like, what if for whatever reason JJ wasn't feeling well? I did, because it's just, that's crazy. But why is it crazy?
No, you want to have it.
It's just how weird, because you know.
Okay, well, first of all, if that, okay, all right. If
you
that
know his
happens,
kids are like, Dad, let's go home. Like,
I'm sure they still have if that happens, though, how much of that salary is Atlanta going to have to eat?
Oh,
you know what I mean?
And I think that's probably why he's still there right now, is they don't want to take it on. But some team
from Atlanta's perspective too, I don't know if it's smart. Like let me. I know it's an unpopular opinion, but you got Michael Penix Jr. starting some games, coming in first full season. You know you're the starter. There's a different dynamic. There's a different way about going through the offseason. There's a different way you talk to the receivers, because I am the guy. A lot of these teams bring in veteran guys that have been there and done it, so the rookie can lean on someone. If they get rid of Kirk, they don't have anyone, and the veteran quarterback market has sort of passed up. You know, maybe Joe Flacco. Maybe Joe Flacco to Atlanta. Backup.
I don't know. I wonder if Joe's going to get snatched up before then. You know, before we get...
You know something I don't know?
No, I don't know anything right now. I just know that there are teams right now that are... Everyone is waiting. The Rodgers thing kind of affects this too, in its own way.
So let me ask you this, because maybe you don't know, maybe you do, because this is the fascinating situation. Our producer was like, "Can you talk 10 minutes on Kirk?" I can talk 55 minutes on Kirk Cousins. The interesting situation for me, let me ask you this, is that if Kirk, oh my God, I forgot what I was going to say.
What? You just did this whole intro to yourself about how amazing you are and how long you could talk, and you forgot what you were thinking?
I didn't say anything about how amazing I am.
You just said, my producer said that I could talk 55 minutes. Oh, wait, I forgot my thought. What?
Okay, here we go.
Oh, my God.
We're just going to cut that, Marissa. You
hear
me? Cut.
No. Keep
cut
that.
It out. Cut it out. Cut it out.
Cut it out.
Cut it out.
Marissa, keep that out.
If Kirk is $38 million, what does the actual front office of Atlanta want to do? If they trade him, and they want to
trade him and not pay any. They want to trade him and have someone take on a boatload of his money.
And if somebody says, what's the breaking point? If you pay half, I pay half, is there like, would they still do it? Because that's a lot of money.
I don't believe that owner wants to do anything less. I'm sure a quarter of it is what he's willing to do. I'm just guessing what that. I don't think this owner is sitting here.
That's low though. You know,
but just. This is why this is like a whole nother conversation for another show. We should
told
just do
you we
Falcons.
Could have it. I told you we could.
Because you just made me started to think about
who
really made this decision to go after Michael Penix after paying Kirk Cousins all this money, coming off an Achilles. It just seems like something was clunky there in terms of how they were going to move forward here. So if I'm the owner, we think Terry Fontenot did it, but maybe ownership wanted to do it. Maybe Raheem wanted to.
By the way, Terry, great guy, great GM, was with him in New Orleans for a long, long time. Knows what he's doing, so I hope this works out for him.
So if I'm the owner, I'm thinking, let's just say for this example that it is Terry that made this call. if I'm the owner, I'm like, okay, you just used how much of my money for the other guy, but then you didn't draft another player in the first round to build around this guy. You went for quarterback, so
because they needed defense. Everyone thought they were
this
going
out.
defense. Yeah,
that's what I would say if I was Arthur Blank. I'd be like, hey, this is your mess. You fix it. You go clean it up. All right, let's take a quick break here. When we get back, look, we thought that your morning routine was crazy with the early hours and the managing of a million things that you do before the sun even comes up. But there is a new viral video on social media right now that has got all of us beat. It is the weirdest, strangest workout video. But I want to get your thoughts on it and talk about it next. We'll be right back. All right, Chase, we're going to bring back this segment, A Little Too Much Internet, because if you have a pulse, if you have a phone, if you have a computer, if you have any technology, you probably did not miss the morning routine that went viral over the weekend. It's currently at like something like 690 million views.
Which is
something
crazy on Twitter. That's a lot.
Yeah, let's watch it.
Journaling, I like it.
So we're going to be serious about the Lord's
Church.
business.
Ugh.
I love how he puts on a Rolex before he works out. I'm like, I would never work out in a Rolex.
What's that other bracelet he's wearing?
Yeah, very popular brand that's expensive. Sprints. Cool. Productive morning. Hot tub. Shower with the Rolex. Okay, this is what gets me. What in the actual hell?
I don't know what that is.
So looking at it, bro, we got to go ahead and get in at least 10,000.
I love the business version of them.
Private chef.
Thank you.
What's he putting on? Okay, that was a lot.
That was hot sauce. All I know is Saratoga water.
What is Saratoga water?
I mean, it's obviously some water company.
I've never heard of Saratoga water
well,
in my entire life.
Now you have, and so have 700 million people.
Is this guy getting?
I'm sure. I mean, what a
is he a
brilliant
fitness
concept.
influencer?
I have no idea what he is. I don't even understand why it's all over my feed. What are we supposed to take away from that?
So yeah, that's a great question. Why did that go viral? Because it's just like this.
Like I saw it, but I was like,
I know like a little. Maybe the word is I don't want to say the wrong. So you might
the quick cuts.
It's
were
the
cool?
quick cuts,
like,
but you know what's interesting and everyone's doing it now? Is it called ASM or it's like I don't know if that's right. It's like where you hear every single type of clink clink in dish. Did you hear that? That's like a thing that's going like more and more ASMR. I was close. Thank you, Marissa. ASMR. It's literally where you can hear all it and to draw more people in. And like I didn't realize all this, but like if you look
telling me
on
to grow
like
this
TikTok
show,
or Instagram,
you want to hear like my pen?
yeah, or like this, like you know what I mean, or like you know like all that stuff. Well, you can't make the sound. Dianna.
Oh,
you can't make the sound. Okay, you gotta have a good mic. You can't go. That's not real. But that's impressive. But that's sort of what it is. So first of all, have you done any of that?
I have not put a banana peel on my face.
Okay,
no.
That's what's crazy to me because I actually saw before I saw this video on Monday morning, I saw Will Compton just no context tweeting, and I saw him rubbing banana peel on his face. I go, what in the hell is going on? So I saw that, and I'm like, what is happening?
I don't understand that. I don't even look the cold plunge ice on the face.
Have you done the ice on the face? I have seen that before. Never done it.
I have not. I've done I've sat in ice after a workout. You've done that, obviously.
Ice bath.
Did in
for
college
sure.
is the worst.
I think the reason, and this is my idea of it, I think the reason why it went so crazy, one, is like not realistic to do that every morning. Two, because of how early he started. And three, how does a person with any type of job get up that early and get any of this stuff done?
See, I disagree. I thought he was up early, which was great. I don't think he accomplished enough. I was like, he's not using his time well, right? Because
Like
he's up at
3:52.
It was 3:50, and all he did was go to the gym, run on, like do sprints, swim a few laps, and take a shower, eat, and it was 9 something by his first meeting.
He listened to the word
he did
of God.
journal.
He
Yeah.
journaled.
I put it this way. I would go toe to toe with him in terms of getting more done in that time frame.
Okay, so what's your morning routine?
You know my morning routine. It's the same thing every day.
Well, like tell the exact times you get up. Like tell on a busy day in free agency, morning routine of Dianna Russini.
That really doesn't
Go.
get free agency is definitely weird, but on a normal day like today,
Yeah.
it's 5:40. I'm up.
Okay.
I'm usually I immediately get up. I put my gym clothes on. I go out. I have coffee with Kev. We catch up real quick. I go to Pilates at 6. I'm back at 7. I'm giving the boys breakfast. Kev takes them to school. Then I start my day. I'm not doing ice buckets or church.
Yeah. I will say though, like I have found not anything crazy like that, but if I do get in a really good routine like that, it makes it impossible with my day right now, but it does make it like awesome to like, I don't know, you feel accomplished.
When Kev and I went on vacation, by the third day, we said, we just want to go home for our routine. We missed routine so badly. That has just become our personalities, and it's good because I think we like to produce, we like to succeed, we like to achieve, and if you don't have a schedule, it's impossible to do it. It keeps you organized. It keeps you feeling like you're on task all day. The days I have where it's just I'm floating around, I am not in a good place. Like
you're
that video is cool.
Very
So are you.
like routine.
I wonder if that's an athlete thing too. You know?
Yeah.
Like, because
I do
we were
definitely
always
look like
forced
he's
to
an
have
athlete.
such tight schedules. I never had free time to get into trouble. Just kidding.
That's at least what you think.
Why are people so drawn to this video though? What is it? I know the sound thing was definitely part of it.
The
but
sound,
do you think
ASMR, I think that it's unrealistic
I think
for anyone with a job to do that. I think that I don't know. And I want one of our producers to hop on and tell us why so we can figure this out because I think we're both just like missing the point here.
I don't think we are. I think most people are gravitating towards this because they either want to be like that, can't even understand it because they would never be like that, or are just entertained by it. I don't think there's one set reason. I don't think
know. I
someone's
looked
like,
at all the comments and some of the retweets and it's just like unrealistic. Like a lot of that was, but also Twitter's full of hate. So,
well, it's unrealistic because most people don't have a private chef, a pool, a beautiful apartment.
He lives in a apartment, right? So
Who
he's
is
got
he?
all the. He's no clue. Couldn't tell you. Popular now. Going to get some brand deals for sure.
Oh, he's going to be all over our Instagram soon, selling
Yes,
us
he will.
bananas and Saratoga water.
That's the weirdest thing. I think I'm going to go put. I'll use Essentia water or Mountain Valley. I think I'm going to go put my face in some Mountain Valley water.
I do think it's a good idea to do the ice bucket or face ice thing because it does help with the swelling if you have.
See,
Do you
that's
have
a
swelling?
girl thing. I feel like.
Yeah, well, we get that. We get the bags under the eyes.
I will
and all
say
that.
I have him beat in terms of I can't. Well, first of all, I cannot beat him up. I said that.
It's a big muscle.
I have him beat on time of waking up.
That's my. Oh, you're up earlier. It's ridiculous. All right.
It's impressive.
Well, too much internet for us. I don't want to see that video clip anymore. You stick with your routine. I'll stick with mine. We're doing just fine. That's what I tell myself every day. Doing just fine. Crushing it in life. And we are crushing it here on Scoop City. Thanks so much for hanging out. If you have any thoughts or ideas on anything we talked about, whether it's football or banana peels on your face, let us know. Shoot us a note. Chase is all over our comment section. He does not miss a comment. He literally will respond to all of you. So ask him anything. Ask me anything. I glaze over it once in a while during the day. But thanks for hanging out with us. We'll see you guys next time.
Bye, guys. Talk to you next time.
Thanks for tuning into Scoop City. If you want to hear more, make sure you like and subscribe. We drop our new episodes every Tuesday and Friday.